be in this.
Yeah, sure thing.
There we go.
So what I wanted to do is really just, you know, I feel like sometimes if we talk about just ideas, we don't get anywhere. So what I thought we could do is just say, since we are trying to be efficient with our time, like if there's something that you want to see executed in this group, right? I want you to think end goal in mind. Like, what is your end goal?
I'm going to take notes too, Jenny, just for the team, for the record.
Yeah, perfect. So what I wanted to, instead of just thinking like, what if we did this? What if we did this? And filling our 40-minute call with what ifs, I thought, why don't we think about, okay, for you personally, like, and I hopped on here late, but I think Katie was talking about things she doesn't like about challenge groups or whatever. So let's think about like, what do we definitely want to see out of this mutual group, right? And then if we put our heads together and we come up with a list of those things, that will help us create the structure for the group. So I'm just going to open it up, and I don't have a pen, so I got to run into the other room and get a pen real quick. But go ahead and start sharing what you guys, if you guys have anything in mind as far as what you want to see executed with this program.
I loved Katie's idea of the Zoom calls, the weekly Zoom calls. Like, I think that is a necessary part of this.
I have that down, Laura. And maybe we can take turns with coaches. Like we'll have certain leaders from the coach team, but we can take turns leading them. If you guys think that's a cool idea, maybe make a rotation. Tammy, you like that too? Okay. I love that too.
Well, and the other thing I'll say too is like, I am definitely one, as you guys know, that like will hop in and lead a Zoom call or whatever. That's like totally my jam. But I have found that like the more things that we do communally, that we open up, that isn't necessarily facilitated, is better for coach cultivation. So if they see us leading something, their automatic first thought is, I could never lead that, right? If it's more of a, we're going to come together and talk about how things are going week to week, and then we come on and share just like we would as a customer, like, does anybody know how to flip these pancakes, right? Like those types of things, like that makes us more vulnerable versus like leading and facilitating, and then it sort of sets us apart. Like it sort of creates this barrier sometimes, I think, between. So that would just be my 2 cents there, is that I understand having like a coach in charge, so long as the theme is
collaboration, community. So maybe it's just simply having a tribe leader or somebody that's opening it. Sorry, Kate.
I was going to say the same thing, like the timekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The coach leading is the timekeeper.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Hey, super quick to let you guys know too, and those that are catching the recording, I am creating the group today for all of our teams, the coaches who are in it to win it. They want to do this. I will put a welcome message in there with some tips like I kind of did from the guide about going ahead, and they can even get started on the workbook and the videos. I will put a welcome message and then ask people to introduce themselves. So every time you guys get a new person, you can add them into this group. The hub will be there for you. And then you can tag your people too and let them introduce each other, and let's start like creating an energy as we go into prep week on April 1st. So it's not going to be tons of info, but I told Jenny I wanted to get the group set up for our team. And as you guys are enrolling people, even over the weekend, you have a place that you can immediately put them into so they can feel that energy and community. Any ideas on what do we want to call it? Anything? I know it's kind of little. Jenny knows I'm the detail person, but anything you guys want me to name the group? Any type of themes or anything? Get your fix on. I don't know. I don't know.
I like the idea of having lifestyle incorporated into the name, just because, like, I know for our team when we did our household lunch party last week, the theme that we kind of went with was treating this like a family initiative and making this a long-term thing rather than 21 days or whatever. So I like the concept of having some sort of like fixed life or fixed lifestyle, something part of the name.
I actually love either life fix or fixed life is kind of fun. Kind of like healthy life is what, like Shakeology. So what do you guys, fixed life? I think it's kind of cool. So it's just, okay, long-term. you guys, obviously we have the challenge group guides as our basis, right? And like once we get this going, I'm assuming Jenny will put coaches on maybe a rotation for a day of the week that they're going to be scheduling their posts in. I would say my biggest thing as a coach, my biggest stickler point is making sure you're very proactive in the day that you're supposed to be posting, making sure that like we have everything in there by a certain time. So like I usually tell my team, have your posts scheduled by 6 a.m. Eastern. Some people do them earlier just because of time changes, but I like my early morning like teachers or people to see those posts. So that's my biggest thing. I'm very big on consistency and professionalism with these groups. But as far as creativity, I don't know if what other things, Tammy, you have usually really good ideas too, because you had so much success with like the 2B mindset. Do you have anything that you'd like to see in the group or a certain?
I think it would be cool to do like a live Q&A at least once or twice, maybe weekly. But the thing I think we need to be careful with that is that I've seen them done well and I've seen them done not so well.
Yes.
So just something that's definitely prepared for, and in case you don't have any questions that come up, maybe some material to talk on, something so that it just doesn't seem totally awkward that somebody's just sitting there with nothing to talk
I think
on.
if we have, I know that we have coaches on both teams who are getting certified in the program. So my thought was something that we've been doing in the virtual gym is like, we have our 2B mindset certified people that they live stream on Sundays, typically about grocery store or veggies most or emotional eating, whatever, like anything 2B mindset related, they've been live streaming about on Sunday. We have those scheduled for Sunday afternoons. So my theory would be, number one, making sure that we communicate with the group when that consistent time will be. Like Q&A will be every Sunday at 1 or whatever, right? Whatever. And then I think that for the coaches who went all in on getting certified, they need to be the ones that answer some of those questions. So maybe that's something that we have like a message strand of coaches who've been certified where we talk in advance. I mean, my biggest concern with that is, this is sort of like my constant thought is, you know, there are a lot of coaches out there in the world, or Beachbody or otherwise, online health coaches who act like certified trainers and certified nutritionists. And I just, as long as our coaches who are certified in Portion Fix stick to only talking about Portion Fix and what they are educated on with that program, if they get a question that's outside that realm, they need to just, you know, divert it. So as long as we cover those basics, that sounds good to me, but I think those coaches that have invested in CERT probably deserve to do those Q&As.
And I think that Autumn does a good job of saying, always refer to their doctor.
Right.
You know, so I think that's ingrained in anyone who's doing the CERT, which is good.
I actually love, Tammy, with what you were saying with live. I think it's like, also sometimes people go live just to go live, right? So it's like we want to have structure. So let's go ahead and set it with us coaches here. What the Zoom calls that are weekly, I think simply we can just post in there like ahead of time, like a little post with the link as we go. But is there a day? See, I don't tend to work on Sundays, but I know that's not everybody else. That's kind of my day of rest, but I want to be an active participant in those Q&As because of the certification too.
Yeah, I mean, from my personal experience, there are a lot more people on Sundays. Like we get more traction, and Sundays tend to be that meal prep day. So
that's true.
A good day, since it's a nutrition-based program, it's a good day to talk nutrition.
But it needs to be live too.
Would it be okay if you didn't live and you prepared stuff in advance, since that's your day of rest, or you know, like?
Or well, I'm just thinking like if we have, like I know we have probably close to a dozen that will be certified Ultimate Fix, so we don't need. I mean, like if I'm certified in Ultimate Fix, then you know this Sunday could be Q&A with Jenny at 1 p.m. and then next Sunday could be Q&A with Natalie at 1 p.m. and then you know what I mean? Like we could, so it would just be one Sunday of your month.
Got it. So then let's just make it we'll make it Sunday at 1 for whoever, and we can create we'll create on Messenger a thread of all the leaders so we can talk. I think also another thing that's really cool, you guys, I like to throw in polls into the challenge groups a lot. So you can kind of get your thumb on what are they struggling with the most? What areas are they needing help with? Then we can all talk and base some of our live videos or some of the other content based on helping people. Some of them are just fun because it's like, how are you feeling today? Like, I want to fill my like yellow with red wine. You know, some of them are just fun for engagement to get it's just have fun, you know? Doesn't all have to be informational, but I think the polls are a good idea to pop in there too.
Yeah, those are fun. And I was just thinking, if we have that many coaches that are getting certified, we could even do bi-weekly, like twice a week Q&A if we wanted to. Just a thought.
Well, you're right. So we've got prep week. A lot of people didn't realize this. You've got prep week, and then this program's 30 days. It's not 21. So a lot of people were assuming it was like the 21-day fix, but it's actually 30 days because of the content, more content. The journal, the daily journal starts with day 1 through 30. So that's their book for 30 days.
Hump day Q&A as well.
Hump day Q&A. That's kind of a cute idea.
I like that. That's some fun.
So what if we did this? Like, okay, so this is just me thinking out loud, but I know that like when I joined like Marketing Impact Academy with Shalene and stuff like that, like one of the added value pieces that they have is like you can actually hop into their, like you're part of their Facebook group, like as a Marketing Impact student. And for me personally, like obviously there were like thousands of people in this group. I felt, because I have a perfection problem and I want to do everything, like I want to check all the boxes. Because marketing impact was such a sort of intense program to go through, like a course to go through, which is like sort of similar to this, like people are going to be going through this. I just don't want people, if we have the twice a week Q&As, I don't want people to feel like they're behind if they don't catch them. And that would be my only concern. So the only thought I would throw in there is, what if we did, and this is just thinking out loud, doesn't have to be accepted, but like a hump day Q&A where it's just open forum. You're like the certified coach is not coming with any material. It's just like, if anybody shows up to ask questions, they're there to answer. And then Sunday is more of a topic driven thing, like meal prepping, you know, whatever.
I love that.
Bring your kids, like all that kind of stuff. So, and then I think what we have to reevaluate. So if we follow that type of structure for 2 or 3 weeks and there's nobody hopping on the Q&As, or there's tons of people hopping on the Q&A and nobody's hopping on Sunday, then we can sort of reevaluate when we head into phase 2. But the other thing I was thinking too is, and I sort of alluded to this on the call the other night, was I feel like that prep week is like 80% of the equation, like getting people to start and invest and understand it. So my thought too is, what if we designate since they're not working out yet and they're just in prep mode, what if that week, since it's not an overwhelming week for them, what if that week we had a live stream every day to prepare them for starting? So a certified, what is it called? Master coach, a certified master coach.
Nutrition mentor or whatever. Is that what you mean?
Whatever, for the ultimate portion fix master coach or whatever. So whenever they go, like we would just have a schedule for that prep week of like, you know, Katie's going live on Monday, Laura's going live on Tuesday, whatever. And that way, because I feel like there's going to be people out there who don't want to read anything. They just want to like watch a video. And then there's people who, like me, I would care less about the video and I'd rather just read the material on my own. But that way we're sort of covering both types of people, the visual people and
I like that.
Like front loading. Just worried that if we have Q&As all the time, that there's people that are going to, like me, that would be like, oh, I missed a couple, I'm behind. And then they just check out.
Well, okay. So prep week. So I'm looking at details here. So prep week, there is a post each day that assigns them the certain videos, which is why I felt like we needed to tell our people, if they want to start with the videos, go ahead, because some people don't have an hour to watch those 4 videos in one day. But Jenny, what if we made the live video based on the topic of preparation for that day. Not
for sure.
Not so whatever the day is in the challenge group guide, if it's something about the setup, you know, great. If it's something about a certain topic that's mentioned, maybe we just take our cue from the challenge group guide.
Yep.
And then as we go through the group, the 4-week official group, then we can pull material from the certification. So we really get them onboarded right. We really give them all the tools. I really loved what Katie and I think Laura were talking about last week on the roundtable, where it's also our responsibility if people feel like they're in a group where there's too many people. It's really our job to make sure that we have some other communication with our own challengers so they don't get lost in the mix.
Yep.
But everyone that I've talked to recently, even with the biggest test groups, they say that they're the best because it's the most fun. They get to meet so many people. They get like several coaches. The energy in there is unstoppable. There's always someone doing something, you know?
Yep.
What do you guys think? Okay, so we've got the challenge group guide. Should we, once we've got coaches, Jenny, should we go through and assign a day as far as, I mean, that's the other piece. Prep week's a week from Monday. Should us four for now start, since we're on the call together here? I mean, I know we have other people that are catching the recording. Should we take the lead on the prep week right now? Or organizationally speaking, how do you want to really get that going?
Okay, here's what I think, because I know there are a lot of people that want to participate in leading and they're not able to be on here right now. So
yeah.
I thought I would post the recording for this, and then we would just give them a deadline to watch this recording. Like, if you really want to help us lead the group, you'll watch this recording by Monday or whatever.
Okay.
And if they watch it by Monday, then on Monday I can make a post in the Leaders United group and just say, like, who here is, because some people will be willing and some people won't.
Right.
Who here is willing to take a topic for, you know, prep week? Here are the 7 topics. And then have them comment with who wants to take what, and that way we can just post like a weekly calendar.
Okay.
Like a week to week calendar. Does that work? Or
it does. You see, this is and I'd love to hear from you guys too. So here's always my hesitation when Katie was even saying big challenge groups, right? Mm-hmm. So we have customers that we're all bringing in. And if we had like 12 coaches co-leading this, that means that your customer would only see like a lesson from you once every 12 days if we're rotating. There's something that I guess that's okay, right? That's the point of a test group. And they'll still see us in there cheering, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. From a leadership role, I'm like, we said that we want people who are leading, we want them to have like three customers in there at a minimum. So the people who are purchasing, that's where I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah. I can only speak for myself and say that, like, for all of our team-led challenge groups that our team has run in the last 2 years, so 80-day obsession, I'm thinking specifically too of like the autumn programs. Mm-hmm. I try not to lead anything. So like for 80-day obsession, all I did was put together the meal plans, and then I would upload them into the group. But otherwise, I let the team lead it. And my challengers had great results and loved the group and loved the atmosphere. But I also was touching base with them through private. Right. So I think it really comes down to the coach. Like, as long as you're not just like letting these people in and letting the team handle, you know, navigate their success, as long as you're touching base with your customers, I think the more people we have in there, the better, because that's my personal feeling. Only because if, like, I might have customers that I become white noise to, as we've talked about, like, you know, where they might hear from Katie and they really like Katie's personality, or they get to know Laura and her personality, or they start to feel like they could even fit in on the team because there's so many different personalities. So my personal thought is, I think that why don't we just, we don't know the numbers, so why don't we find out how many of our Leaders United folks are getting certified and taking it seriously? Because I know that I have a few that are in Leaders United who are getting certified, but I don't think they're really wanting to do anything. So as far as that, so let's see how many we have, and let's start with the Leaders United certified coaches.
Okay.
And then that will get us at least through prep week, right? Like we can use, we know the leaders are experienced. They've most likely gone live on their own, right? Like there's just a different level of experience there. And I feel comfortable with that, especially for prep week.
Okay.
And maybe what we need to do is take personal inventory of our teams and see how many coaches outside of that have gotten certified.
Okay.
Or are getting certified. Because I know, like for me, I always tell Chris, I'm like, last week he's like, oh, do you have your team call tonight? And I was like, no, we have our Leaders United call. And he's like, oh, okay, well, how's that different? And I'm like, it's not much different because the people who tune into the Leaders United call are the people who tune into my team call. So yeah. I feel like the dozen leaders in Leaders United are probably, let's say 12 of my 15 total coaches that are getting certified. So I think we need to know what our numbers are, but I think we need to start off with giving these leaders with experience and certification the time. That's just my personal feeling. I totally understand. I've been thinking about this a lot since our call about the whole, like, should I lead my own group? Should I lead, how do I do that whole thing when Katie was talking about leading her own group? I totally understand. What, sweetie? Mommy's on a call. Okay, go show daddy. Go show daddy. I don't care about your blue crayon. No offense, sweetie. So I think for me, sweetie.
Hi, Ellery.
That's Natalie. Yeah, she's like mommy's friend, Natalie.
Hi, Ellery.
So crazy hair. So yeah, I guess my thoughts on that are just like, I understand like when it comes to a fitness program, but I think when it comes to a nutrition program with this much complexity, is complexity a word?
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's requiring certification and it's like an online course, my personal feeling is the more people, the better. And I know that served true with 2B Mindset. When we all tried to break free and do our own 2B Mindset groups, we kind of bombed. But when we had our initial launch group for 2B Mindset, it was like a really powerful group. And I think power in numbers with nutrition
is huge. So you guys, as I set up the group, because I am being very mindful here, I know I have to get off in about 10 minutes. Do you guys I always set them up like social learning groups so you can make units. So we'd have like are you guys all familiar with that? Does everyone use like the social learning setting so you can put everything into a unit? Yeah. And like, and then sometimes I'll create like a folder for like recipes if people have some like extra fun recipes that they're popping in or motivational messages, whatever. Is there anything else with the challenge group that you guys would like to see? Like Katie, I'm still laughing because you were like, I mean, I'm done with Motivational Monday. And that's like me. I'm like, it's Motivational Monday, but we can mix in all sorts of like leadership messages. But is there anything else that I'll just write a list of other things that you guys would like to see or do in the group?
I would just make sure that the discussion, it's set so discussion shows up first. I think that's
okay.
Something a little thing that people miss, and it makes the groups look really dull when you join in.
So discussion first. You guys will have to tell me. What'd you say?
I think she's talking about because when you set it up as a learning group, it'll sometimes show up as a unit, and then you can't see the discussion unless you click on the discussion tab. So she's saying if you could make it to where the discussion shows first versus the topic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And is there so I'll just have to make sure I set that up.
I don't know if there's a way. I'm really bad with technology.
Okay. Hey, really quick, Tammy just mentioned something. Hold on, we're going to come right back to this. She just said she looked at the challenge group guide and it has 2 weeks of prep. I guess I only saw 1 week. Am I missing something?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking at it right. I'm seeing 2 weeks of prep material.
For the Ultimate Fix portion thing?
Yeah, and then 4 weeks after that for the group.
Okay. We'll look into that, Tammy, for sure, because then maybe that's some content. I don't know. I didn't see that. I thought it was just 1 week is all I saw. I must be losing it.
I think I'm seeing 14 days worth of prep.
Okay. Maybe it's just stuff we can even combine together. Some of those, maybe because some of them are like intro.
Videos, though. It's like,
what do you say?
It's so many videos, though. It's like a lot every day.
I've never seen 2 weeks. I don't know how I missed that. And I was just in there. I don't know if I just scrolled down to day 1 after I saw prep week.
Maybe I'm lost in something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Well, okay, so here's the other thing, Jenny and team. What about if there are really 2 weeks and they're including the videos? What if we simply build in some of the other videos and just pull them out? We don't need to have our group watch all of the whole entire course. Why not just move some and sprinkle them into some of those first week posts as they're kind of getting used to it? Do you guys think that's fine? Like maybe just add some other videos with the messages? I'll have to look and see.
I'd have to relook through some of the initial modules. But I mean, I don't know, because I almost worry that if we pull out videos that they're going to be, I don't know, it's going to be partial information. You know what I mean?
They would still go in order, but if it really was 2 weeks of videos that they're supposed to learn before starting day 1, then this is a 6-week group and it's going to be like.
Right. I see what you're saying. I don't know how to split it up is what I'm saying.
We can look at it because of time. Do you guys all want to kind of like just look into it and come back to the table? Tammy, thanks for tuning in today. Have a wonderful Saturday.
What's the downside of a 6-week group?
Well, from a business standpoint, launching a second test group and having like nothing, like unless we were simultaneously going to start a second round while still finishing this round, I don't know, right?
Because that's what I had planned to do, is like be running a group and then like it's going and then the other group starts, and that's kind of how I had planned to do my personal business.
So just do a second, just pop it in.
I mean, it would have to be like a separate group.
I don't know. Now I'm like back to the drawing board here a little bit in my mind.
Sorry.
No, not you. Just the fact that did anybody else catch that there were 2 weeks of prep? Jenny, are you in there looking at it right now?
Well, she says like you don't want your customers to start using their containers until the 3rd week.
To me, I think that there are people that are ready to do this right now, and to wait till you finish all the videos. A lot of those videos are things that I feel like fine tune what they're already doing when they customize the containers. You know, like I remember with the 21-day fix, when I started, I like looked at the meal guide. I put my weight in, categorized how many containers I would need of each, and looked at the food list. And I just started on a Monday. But as far as knowing everything about like what's the best food in that food group, how's your emotional eating, like I wouldn't say that. I think that sometimes you have to do and think. That's just, and I could be wrong.
I'm the opposite. I'm a planner, and I have to know that all of it first
before you can start.
I get super overwhelmed. Yeah, because that's why I never started the initial container system, because I looked at it, I saw the containers, I'm like, yeah, and I ran away. I didn't have a step-by-step. I needed the step-by-step to feel less overwhelmed. So I think it just depends on the person. But yes, I agree. There are going to be people that are going to be like, I just want to get this started and not want to watch the videos. But then there's also going to be people like me that need the steps. So maybe a middle ground?
Maybe, because the 2B mindset, you didn't have 2 weeks of prep. You watched the videos each day as you were using the tracker book and the veggies and the water first. So like you would be drinking water, but it might not be till day 7 that she really talked about in the video the impact of water. You were doing the videos, all of her video lessons, while actually going through the program.
And I think that's why I didn't like 2B mindset.
Okay.
Like I liked some parts of it, but like I like more of the structure to it for me personally. But that's, once again, it depends on how you like to learn these things. So
the timing is so tough because Beachbody didn't release it until March 18th. So the time frame to actually get people enrolled and the 5 days to get, I still have people enrolling this weekend. So that's not enough time. I mean, there are other people who bought it already as a coach from me 2 weeks ago, to make them then wait 4 more weeks before they can actually put the container system into action, to me is crazy.
I think it's going to have to almost be like it's almost going to have to be something that's continually moving. Like, even though we're going to be stationary moving forward, like, you know, unit by unit, not everybody's going to be at the same place. I think that's just something that we have to look at.
Okay. Well, I have to get off of here in 3 minutes. And of course, Jenny can continue with you guys. Jenny, what do you want? What do you think we should do on this framework here?
So here's what I think. I think that my number one question was going to be, how do we want our customers or challengers to check in every day? Because
yeah,
I think if we know what we want from them, like end goal again, like, so in my mind, like I always like to reverse engineer from the end all the way backwards. So in the end, I want them to get results, right? We want them to, whatever it is, lose weight, maintain their weight, gain weight, whatever it is their goal is. We want them to hit their goals. So much so that they become faithful fans of the products. And, you know, a certain percentage of them, 50% or more, want to pay it forward as coaches. And at the end, if we could all say it was a successful group, if 80% saw results and 50% decided to become coaches. So if we have those goals in mind, we have to know what we want them to check in on every day. And we want them to check in on things that most likely equip them or set them up to even be a coach later. So like, I like how in our challenge group, our virtual gym yesterday, Tracy Dager posted a really funny picture of her working out. It was really cracked me up. And then asked people to share their workout picture below. And what I like about that is like encouraging people to post a photo, and it doesn't have to be of them, especially at first, but like a picture of their meal prepped food or a picture of their fridge or whatever it is. Like those types of things, I feel like get them in the act of thinking like a coach and sharing. So I think once we know how we want them to check in, then we can sort of think about how we want this overall structure to be. Because my thought looking at these modules, I'll be completely honest with you, I looked at it last night and again right now while we're talking, and I haven't watched anything yet, but I feel like, Ellery, can you please be quiet for 1 minute? Thank you. What I feel like though is that it looks like with each module there are overall goals, like them figuring out what path they're going to be on, understanding macros, you know, starting with the containers in week 3, meal prep, incorporating their family. So at least right now, the way I'm visualizing this, how I'm thinking to myself, how can we as coaches help facilitate this tool? Because what I don't want to do is regurgitate the tool. I don't want to take the tool and just like make them watch it in 2 different places, right? Or make them look at the content in 2 different places. But what I like is the idea of sort of like a weekly checklist to help them make sure that they're staying on progress, on track.
What I really like is to see them posting a picture of them filling out their daily logbook. Because I think if they're actually engaging with the physical tool,
the product,
that's going to be a better thing.
Yeah.
So every day, like, it's kind of their homework. I know homework isn't like a fun word, but you know what I mean? It's like their task, their daily task, like their win is just like that they actually did it. Because that was one of my biggest frustrations with Transform 20 is like we had this awesome tool and they weren't using it.
Right.
Let's do that. Like, I think that's a great idea. Like, have them post a picture of their daily logbook as their check-in.
That's simply their check-in.
Yes.
And that way we don't put the pressure if they're behind on like a video or a lesson. I don't want to put pressure like I was a teacher, like you guys just said, checking homework. Right. And Jenny, you said on the roundtable on Wednesday, the most powerful thing you said was getting people to take action instead of just like looking at the materials and leaving half of them in the box and just like sort of dabbling in the containers and pressing play, you know, if they wanted. Like, I like the idea of having an action-oriented step, and the action-oriented step is the daily journal. And it's making sure they're following the customized plan and all of that.
Right.
And I think it addresses, like, you're worried that people aren't going to start. They are starting, but they're starting digging deeper than just like, let me open the containers. Because that's,
yes.
I know that with the containers, I just started using them without knowing anything. I'm like the complete opposite of Laura, which is I'm just like, here's some containers, I'm going to do stuff, you know, like not knowing why, but
I didn't understand the why 5 years ago when I did it, but I got results because I actually did the container system. I actually realized I was eating like a monster of what a normal carb was. I was eating like I was still breastfeeding my 2 girls, like that level of carbs. So the actual doing and seeing and visualizing, but I didn't know at the time the sweet potato is the best carb out there, or sardines are actually the most high protein red you can have, and I hate them, so I'll move down the list, right? I didn't know any of that. I just tried. And I don't even remember being coached that much on it.
Yeah.
I remember, and we have this whole program now that even if they only got a certain percentage of, and you guys, I'm like a high performance teacher. I'm a perfectionist like Jenny, but even if they only got a handful of the videos in at the beginning and then got behind, but they were still doing the containers and enjoying being in this group and seeing life changes, so be it. A lot of people in my 2B Mindset group that got incredible results did not finish every video, but they filled out the tracker and they learned the 4 components of the 2B Mindset that changed their life. I can't make them go back and watch that video on emotional eating. They're going to need, we can set up the framework and encourage it, but I love the idea of having a simple check-in where they snap a picture of their thing. If you guys are okay, can we make the check-in either evening or next morning? Because for me, a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like, do you guys want the check-in to be every night before people go to bed? Like, some people I know didn't finish it till late.
I think that's, I mean, my personal feeling on that is, like, if we're creating a lead post every day and the expectation is for them to post a picture of their log for the day, they're going to, whatever time works for them. Like, we don't.
So they could pop it in the next morning, Jenny, under that day, and you guys are cool with that?
Again, it's not like, if they're not cheating me if they don't post it, they're cheating themselves. So
right.
Yeah, I think my thought too is like this. That's why this larger group is so powerful, because most likely what's going to happen is very similar to what happened with 2B Mindset, which is the people that are like the Natalie and Jenny's who want to sit through and look through all the material and know everything before they start and take it seriously are going to be the ones that see results first and that share things working for them first, which will most likely motivate the people who've been sitting around trying to figure out the containers, or who haven't started yet because they think it's overwhelming. They're going to be like, I really need to do this. Like, these people in this group are really liking this, or they're really seeing results. Like, I need to do it. So that's the power of that bigger group too. If you have 3 people and 2 of your 3 people aren't go-getters, your group sucks. You know what I mean? So like, that's why the bigger group is cool. So that's my thought. But I think I like the idea what Katie said of sharing that daily check-in, but I still am thinking in the back of my mind about having, like, maybe it's just one sort of, I don't want to call it homework, but one fun element per week that ties into like that theme for the week. So maybe whatever week it is for meal prep, right? That's just on the top of my head. Like, most of these people most likely haven't meal prepped before. So having their, your end goal for this week is to meal prep for the first time. Like, we want you to meal prep for the first time. Now, we recommend that you use the videos to teach you how to do that, to get to this point. But on the weekend, right, we're going to have sort of a check-in where we want you guys to share your first meal prep. Natalie, did you just smile for a picture and not tell us to smile? So then I look like this.
Well, I'm testing out. No, I'm going to do another one. You keep talking, Jenny. I'm doing another one. I was trying to figure out the lighting.
Okay.
So before I hopped off.
Right. In the back of my mind is, I understand that, like, you don't want to sort of like shame them into nice, Katie.
Sorry. Wait, just pause for a second. I need my picture. Everyone just smile. Do something cute. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We are so adorable. Wait, Jenny, one more. Hold on. Your eye is closed. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. There, Katie, where's your arm? One more time. 1, 2. I need the pose, Katie. 1, 2, 3. I can't. It's so good. I'm going to send it to you. All right, Jenny, I'm so sorry. Sunshine and rainbows.
That's okay. My only thought is just really figuring out like what, like, we need to have, I think, an overall weekly theme that jives in correspondence with the containers. And if we try to do what we've done before, which is, are you up to date? Like, you should be on video 16. Like, if we try to do that, we're shaming them into not keeping up. But if we have an overall theme, like this week your goal is meal prep, right? Like this week your goal is incorporating your kids or whatever. Like if we have a weekly theme, that's what we go with. Everybody's scheduled for those lead posts, sticks to that theme, right? Like they incorporate that theme somehow. That's how we're going to make this unique and kind of like digress a little bit from the challenge group guide. I actually think the challenge group guide is pretty good, but we need our own like voice and vibe and theme. So
I love that if we have a theme, then one of the things we could do at the end of the week is like, how did you have success with whatever the theme is this week? Like let's celebrate. Like Saturdays we celebrate, and like how did your
I love that celebration Saturday.
Yeah, and like whatever the theme is, it's like how did you have success during the week? Because that way, I know a lot of my challengers, they'll like if they fall off one, they feel like everything's over, you know. But it's like you have a whole week. Like what's one thing that we can?
I actually do that currently in my challenge group, Katie. Every single week I have, what's your victory of the week? It could be something as simple as like, I drank a lot of water this week, or, you know, I made better choices this week. You know, little things that like, because if you're constantly focusing on what you're struggling with, like you said, that's where people fall off and get frustrated.
You guys, I have to hop off, but my only lasting question, I'm creating this framework. I still am not sure what we're doing with 2 weeks of prep material. And I've told everyone there's 1 week of prep and then we get going. So I don't want to screw anything up. So I don't know what we want to do. I think 2 weeks of prep before starting, to me, I think it's too much. That's just personally me. But I don't know where we can go from this, but I gotta go. Jenny, yes, sorry.
Let's look. I'm looking at everything right now, and I'm not seeing
2 weeks.
I'm not seeing 2 weeks.
She said there was like 14 days. Was she in the certification of something?
Maybe.
Because I did not see 2 weeks unless I am a straight crazy woman. I saw 7 days of prep and then week 1.
I'm seeing 7 days of prep too, unless I'm looking in the wrong place.
And you're under the ultimate fix.
I'm under the ultimate fix.
Now this is bothering me. I have to look really quick. Hang tight.
Either way, I think, well, first of all, we just don't have time to do 2 weeks.
No.
Natalie, you're never getting off here.
No, I know. I plan my day so well, so I sound like such a brat. I'm like, I need to get to the beach, you guys. And Jenny's like, screw you, Natalie. But I did get up early and knock out my
Florida, so she can go on a cruise and then come back and go back to Florida.
I know. And then listen, we can fly you out here. It sounds like no. Okay. I have no idea what the hell is happening.
That sounds amazing. My toddler is driving me insane today. So
well, I can't. Where is the train? Hold on. Okay. Did I really do?
So and we also need to probably chat at some point about like, I know I personally told my challengers that the workouts are optional. But I also know that my team really likes to check in with sweaty selfies and post about fitness all the time.
I kind of went ahead and said, yeah, we're on April 1st. We'll also start with the workouts. Okay. However, what if we just make it optional? You know how, okay. So Katie said, let's make the check in the logbook. Why don't we just say bonus is the workout or something for self-care? Maybe it's right. Like what if it's just their self-care can be the workout? Or could be something else if they're waiting. Okay, there are 2 weeks of prep, Jenny.
Why am I not seeing it?
There's the day 7 of prep 1 is all about watching certain videos, and then there are 2 weeks of prep, and it's all about completing the videos in the workbook. So basically, she has 2 weeks. However, in Autumn's actual guide, she says, go ahead and watch this many videos and then you can start the container system. Go for it once you have your path picked. So basically with her 2 weeks of prep, she has people starting the container system, but not the logbook, official logbook until after like 2 weeks of checking out all the videos and completing the workbook. That's why I was saying, could we not after they, at least during prep week, pick their path and set up their container system, could we not have them continue week 1 and just at the end, like we have our post, but we say, go ahead and add this video, fill out these workbook pages, but it can be on their own pace because they don't have to know every detail of a macros or emotional eating to start the container system.
Yeah, I agree.
So we could even just, like I said, the second week of prep, those videos, just move them into the daily lesson that they can add in and space them out. That's kind of what I meant, because that's the only way I can see us doing a prep week in 1 week. But I do have to go. I love you guys. I could talk to you all day.
No worries.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna check in with all of you. We got our picture.
And I have to go too because I have to leave to pick up my mom from the airport in like a few minutes. So, but I'll take a few last minute notes here. I have one more thought that I want to talk to them about, and then we'll sign off. So I'll post the recording as soon as I have it.
Okay. Talk to you girls.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.
So for me, like thinking about the check-ins, I trying to come up with something creative for, you know, if we want them to check in every day with a photo of their logbook and something self-care, maybe we can come up with a witty little saying that's like self-care and logbook or whatever. Like, I don't know what it would be, but something like that. That's like that's what we're asking for. Cause you know how we had like the wins. I feel like that was simple and it was something people could remember and it was like catchy. So I feel like we need something like that with the check-ins. And again, I think if we know that that's at the end of the day, that's what we want people to be checking in with, and that's how we're going to move them forward, then that's going to sort of set the tone and the tone for the group. So what do you guys think? If there's any catchy things we could say for that, or anything we're missing? I mean, I'm glad that we're not going to focus on like checking in with your workout. If we're going to make the workout optional for some people, I feel like asking them for their workout is overwhelming and not going to work. So I like the self-care idea. Well, it could be a massage. It could be you went for a walk. It could be you know, talked to an old friend and whatever, took a nap, like whatever self-care is for each individual person.
We could actually just call it a self-care selfie and then explain that that's the logbook and whatever self-care thing that you're doing for that day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think we need to break it into like, as long as we explain it to our challengers, I think that's simple and yeah.
Sorry, the word selfie, even if we explain it, might scare some people away because they don't want to do a picture of their face. Or we can just do like log for love, you know, like, or log something, or.
You can consider it a diary too, right? Like it's kind of like a daily diary.
Daily diary.
Yeah.
I don't know why we have to have the literary.
To me, diary sounds like a 15-year-old.
Well, let me think on it. We don't need to think.
I don't want to go back there.
The focus should be on nutrition.
Right.
It's not necessarily on self-care. I think it should be something around nutrition or.
But self-care is nutrition too.
Like, because we're talking about balanced macros through the whole thing, so
right.
We need to do a balance. Like,
well, let me think on it because sometimes I think
you guys are marketing people. I'm not as creative as you, so that's why I defaulted to selfie because I have no idea. There's my dog. Let
me think about it because I've got my wheels spinning about it. So I'm going to think about that. I'd like coming up with something catchy for that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to, I didn't realize it was already 10:30. I was thinking it was like 10:15 because I was waiting on Natalie to hop off. She said she had to go at 10:15. So then I looked down, I'm like, crap, it's 10:30. So I have to go pick up my mom from the airport. But what I think we should do is come up with what that's going to look like. It sounds like we have a decent grasp on how we're going to handle prep week. So anything else you guys think that, I don't know if we have time to discuss it, but is there anything topic-wise that we need to figure out? Before?
One of the things, and maybe this is what we do personally with our coaches, is the worksheets that she has for the one-on-one coaching aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of maybe doing that through the My Challenge tracker and having that like in parallel is having them kind of do something one-on-one with me, because those go into a little more personal stuff, like maybe stuff they don't want to share with the entire group, or do we do that with the whole group?
No, I like that idea, Katie. I think the worksheets and my challenge tracker would probably work well together. Cool. Yeah, and I like that because I think that keeps it more personal too, that you can view their stuff and yeah, it's not in the bigger group.
Because I really like that part of this program is the one-on-one coaching. I think that makes it really different.
And that's how I've seen people with the best results when we've been able to communicate one-on-one when I walk them through it.
And nutrition is a very, like, especially diving into the emotional stuff, like nutrition is a really personal thing for people.
Right.
And I think that it does need to be very one-on-one driven. We need to be very, we need to be diving in deeper with our challengers as a coach. And especially that's what I like about the certification are the worksheets that go along with it.
Yep. Cool. Okay, well, I think we have a good head start on this. I think it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully we can get some feedback too from the people who aren't on here on the call once they watch this. So I will post the recording. I'm gonna go ahead and start uploading it as soon as we hang up. But I know I've got to run. It's a Saturday morning. We have all got stuff to do. So thanks ladies for being on here. And we'll talk soon. Bye kiddos.